Tonight, we're going to take on the Bellsprout Tower, and you're seeing Gastly running behind me, which means that it's now ready to fight. If you're wondering how that grinding session went, well, if it actually went really, really well, because all the unknowns in the Ruins of Alph... Oh, we're fighting Sage Nico first, so Nico, if you're watching this, I hope you don't mind having 3 level 3 Bellsprouts licked to death. Seriously, that is probably the worst representation of the name ever. 3 level 3 Bellsprouts. Well, maybe not. I really feel sorry for anyone who has a 6 Magikarp Fisherman named after them, but 3 level 3 Bellsprouts is still pretty bad too. Anyway, the Gastly was rather easy to train since, oh yeah, paralysis hacks. Forgot to mention that Lake has a 30% chance of paralysis, so it's going to occur rather often. Don't think too much of it. It's nothing special, really. Well, at least it's got a high hacks chance, considering it's got only 20 power. But, as I was about to say, despite the 20 power, the unknowns in the Ruins of Alph went down relatively fast. As you can see, I've got a level 13 Gastly right now. So, yeah, it actually went really well. Chikorita gained a few levels while, trying to bring the Gastly up to speed, because, like it or not, Lick is still ultra weak, so that means that when it was, just level 4, it couldn't survive an encounter with one of these unknowns, because, well, yeah, 20 power off Gastly's non-existent attack. That is not good, and I'm really looking forward to it reaching level 15, because that's when it learns Nightshade, so it's actually going to be able to deal a little damage, even if it's restricted to its current level. Oh, by the way, just a friendly reminder, first commenting is still a bannable offense. I wonder if it's because people are forgetting that, or did they just don't know, or whatever, but, yeah, first commenting, or actually any kind of view counting or comment counting is an instant bannable offense. Personally, it's my way to weed out some of the idiots that aren't really wanted here, but still, if I can avoid banning anyone because of that, it would be really fine, because it seems like ever since I started this LP, every comment section has been a freaking graveyard. I think once I even had to delete the first 5 comments or something. It's really getting out of hand, so if you could just please follow the rules, it would be very much appreciated. Not that it's gonna make any difference for this video, because first commenters usually don't watch the video before commenting, so obviously they're not gonna go 3 minutes in and, say, I'm not gonna risk getting banned, thank you for the warning, so just hoping for an improvement starting next video, I guess. On to something else, by the way. You've been a few to tell me, but I already knew. Smogon introduced a new tier, the rarely used tier, which goes between underused and never used. The reason for that is because if we kept the same tiering scheme, well over half of all the Pokemon would be never used, and considering we have a lot of other tiers, it would make little sense to have the vast majority of everything grouped in one tier. So yeah, rarely used tier. I wonder if there's going to be a metagame that's going to come out of it, though, because let's face it, the appeal of the underused metagame is for when you're tired of seeing the same Pokemon over and over and over in overuse. So you play underused to see something else for a change. But if you get tired of underused, I don't think the problem is underused as much as you being sort of sick of Pokemon for a little while, and you should just switch games until you feel like coming back to Pokemon. But still, I'm wondering if there's going to be a metagame that's going to come out of this, or if the rarely used tier is just going to depend on how used the Pokemon is in either the underused metagame or the overused metagame, maybe both. Don't know exactly how it's going to go, but personally I don't have very high expectations for such a metagame to start with. Well, it's been a while since I've actually been able to cover Pokemon news between the home stretch. Speaking of home stretch, we got the home stretch of the Bellsprout Tower right here, and yes, I did notice there was an item that I didn't notice at first. I was too eager to run into that sage here, but I'm gonna go grab the item. It's just so that I'm just saying that so you don't pause the video and say, "Oh, you forgot an item down there!" And then you continue, and 1 or 2 minutes later, you actually see me grabbing the item, and you're like, oops, I fucked up. Seriously, that kind of thing happened to me in the past, so that's why I'm actually pointing this out. And just to be clear, when I say it's happened to me as the Let's Player, not the commenter. I always watch the entire video before commentate. That's common courtesy, really. And by the way, you probably noticed, but on this floor, the Pokemon levels, well, not the wild ones, but the trainer ones, they're a lot higher than on the first 2 floors, so the endless armada of level 3 Bellsprouts is done and over with. Everything on this floor goes from level 6 up. So, yeah, as I was about to say, between the home stretch of the Platinum LP and the beginning of this one, I haven't had much time to commentate on Pokemon news, so I guess right now would be a good time to start catching up on that, since I still have a few trainers left before the Elder. There have been a lot of giveaways that have been announced regarding Movie 14 in Japan. First one that was announced was the Victini that has V-Create. Actually, it doesn't have only V-Create as a special move, it also has Fusion Bolt and Fusion Flare. But Fusion Flare is completely and utterly obsoleted by Searing Shot, since Fusion Flare has no added effect, while Searing Shot has a 30% burn chance. And no, I don't want to hear about the actual added effect that Fusion Flare has involving Fusion Bolt. That doesn't count. It's probably the worst added effect ever. But otherwise, yeah, it's got V-Create and Fusion Bolt. And there's also going to be a Reshiram and a Zekrom that's going to be given out depending on your game's version. And alright! Gastly level 15, so now it's gonna learn Nightshade. Perfect timing, because the levels are sort of rising there, and Lick's not doing a whole lot right now. But yeah, you're gonna get the Uber that's opposite the version you're playing. So for example, white owners are gonna get Reshiram, and black owners are gonna get Zekrom. And these are also going to have moves that are unique to the event, so Reshiram's going to have Mist, and Zekrom is going to have Haze. Yeah, not very interesting moves. I think everyone's going to agree on that. But the reason why they're getting those moves is because of the Japanese names of those moves. Because, as I recall, Mist is White Fog and Haze is Black Fog. So, this is why they're being given to Reshiram and Zekrom. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense in international versions, but the games are made in Japan, so I guess they have first say. Hoot hoot! So we got something else than a Bellsprout here for a change. Now, Gastly can't do anything at all to this guy, other than Hypnosis if it doesn't have Insomnia, which I believe it does. And there's also Curse, but I don't want to use that, aside from being a last resort. But anyway, back to the movie giveaways. There's also another one that depends on your version, but I don't think I'm going to have the time to mention it right now, because this is the last trainer before the Elder. Yeah, I really should plan these things out a bit better than that. But yeah, I apologize, but you probably already know what it is, but it's a bit frustrating for certain people. I'll get into why when I actually get there, because right now, Silver just had his way with the Elder, and now Silver is going to get the Flash TM, which is going to be able to eliminate the Dark Cave. This is why we need to come here in the first place, and because it's mandatory if you even want to get to the gym in this version of the game. And it seems like Silver is disgusted with the Trashy Man. Yeah, just had to say it. Basically, yeah, they cannot defeat me. Actually, they make Silver out as the villain this whole time, but his outlook on Pokemon is actually pretty accurate, because there are a bunch of zeros and ones, nothing more. They're basically chess pieces, so the stronger the better. I agree with that fundamental concept, actually, but it's just the words that are put in your character's mouth for some reason. And by the way, something that I'm reminded of by seeing this wild Gastly, the reason why I decided to climb this tower at night is because, as I said, during the day there's only Rattatas, while during the night there's almost only Gastlys with just a few Rattatas. Now the reason why I chose the Gastlys was because, well, you're seeing it right now, they're one-hit KO'd by a lick, so it's really easy to defeat, whereas they can't do anything whatsoever to Rattata, so I need Chikorita to actually come in and get the kills. Anyway, this is the Elder of the Bellsprout Tower. This is the first battle in this game that requires more finesse than brute force, depending on which starter you chose, and it's going to be a bit harder since I chose Chikorita, so it requires a bit more strategy. So, we're starting out with one of the Bellsprouts, and I guess Nightshade's going to be a 2-hit KO. Level 7 should mean about 23, 24, 25 HP. Yep, just like that. And it wastes its turn on Growth. Yeah, it's got Vine Whip, which is physical, and it wastes a turn using Growth to boost special attack. This was back in the day when it only boosted special attack instead of both attack stats. And okay, we're going with Hoot Hoot already. I'm gonna send out Chikorita since Gastly can't use Hypnosis on it. Believe me, that Hoot Hoot has Insomnia. And Curse, well, they told me I would die if I ever used it, so not gonna do anything. And trying to use Poison Powder, but that's not working out so well. Ah, missed again! Come on! How much damage is Peck gonna do? Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's a bit difficult if you got Chikorita. At least I got the Poison Powder in. But now, Peck again, so that means my next move is going to be Synthesis. Are you seeing what I'm going for here? I'm trying to stall for poison damage while occasionally trying to get in a Razor Leaf, and since it used Growl on the turn where I missed the Poison Powder, it's going to be a little more complicated, but fortunately, poison damage is flat, so it could growl me to death, not that it's possible, but it would still die eventually. So, it's time for another Synthesis while stalling for poison damage. And this is sort of what I'm planning on doing against Faulkner's Pidgeotto, to the exception of, I'm going to try and get a Curse in with Gastly. So that its health is going to go down a little bit faster. Razor Leaf should probably put it in range of a KO with poison. Yep. So I'm just going to have to take one last peck, and that is going to be it. There we go. So can't forget that it still has that second Bellsprout, but Gastly should be able to take care of it very easily. Chikorita is now level 14, only 2 levels away from evolution, so might actually evolve in the near future, since I'm not totally ditching it until Goldenrod. So, second Bellsprout, 2 Nightshades should kill it. If it decides to use Growth, well, more power to me. And if it doesn't, there we go, Growth. But I was sure I was able to wall Vine Whip nonetheless. So, there we go. The Elder of the Bellsprout Tower has just gone down. I love it when a plan comes together like that. Prove that sheer force isn't always the best solution. Sometimes strategy is what's needed to save the day. So now I'm going to get the Flash TM, which I'm going to need to get through the Dark Cave and other assorted dungeons, such as the Rock Tunnel all the way over in Kanto. And I'm going to give it to Wooper once it hatches, I guess. And speaking of light, I'm actually feeling pretty tired right now, so I'm going to wait until tomorrow to upload this video, I guess.